we sold over 300,000 unique items of other resale brands, shoes, apparel. We even sold Dyson vacuums. We were selling anything we could make money on. And during that time, basically traveling the world, filming some of the content of us actually buying this resale product. January of last year, 2024, where our accounts just kind of started to skyrocket. And we found, the magic sauce and just kept.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
And today we got my man, Alex, on the pod. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing great, brothers. Thank you guys for having me. It's amazing.
We're super excited. We're super excited. I specifically am excited to have Alex here because he is one of the founders of CultureKicks. It's an absolutely phenomenal movement, a community, a company, all wrapped in one. And I was very blessed to get a really awesome pair of their new sneakers and a hoodie. Actually, sorry, a t-shirt. And I got to tell you guys, I've been wearing the sneakers every day. Been wearing the shirt sometimes 3 times a week. I haven't even washed it. I like it so much. And it's a problem. He's got addicting freaking gear. You guys got to check it out. But Alex, introduce yourself, introduce your company, tell people what you're up to, how you're doing it, and just give people the background.
Of course. Thank you, man. I actually got mine on right now, so of course. You gotta wear it all over the place. But we like to say they're the sneakers that feel like slippers, you're walking on air. So but again, thank you guys for having me so much. My name's Alex, out of Philadelphia, actually soon to have a place in Brickell, Miami. But basically, I started CultureKicks about 2.5 years ago with my today partner who I met on Facebook Marketplace, actually in an Applebee's parking lot, selling them 8 to 10 pairs of Jordans. And, safe to say the first deal went pretty well. And then we did 6 to 10 more deals. I was working out of New York City at the time, Foot Locker corporate. So I had some background in the sneaker industry. And at the time, just got pretty tired during COVID days of opening the computer, running my Excel's, POs, and doing it the same exact thing the next day. And, push came to shove. My partner today, Chase Young, who's seen in a lot of the videos, said, I'm quitting my corporate job. You have the business mind and the energy that I would actually be prepared to offer you 50% of this business. Would you quit your job to start this with me? And at the time, CultureKicks only had about maybe 4,000-5,000 followers on Instagram, just a little side hustle thing. And, quit the job, went after it. I think that was definitely a very pivotal moment in my life. But then within the next year, we sold up to $1.5 million worth of product. In 2023 alone, we sold over 300,000 unique items of other resale brands, shoes, apparel. We even sold Dyson vacuums. We were selling anything we could make money on. And during that time, basically traveling the world, filming some of the content of us actually buying this resale product. And it wasn't until January of this, or actually now it's happy 2025, everybody. January of last year, 2024, where our accounts just kind of started to skyrocket. And we found, the magic sauce and just kept remaking it, reposting it. We went from under 100,000 followers in January of 2024 to over 3 million total followers by the end of December 2024. So within 12 months, 3 million follower growth, and really just pouring into our own social media accounts, overall brand, and, now being able to put the profits into our own product line. So fully getting away from selling other people's stuff and creating sort of a Nike, Barstool had a baby type brand, CultureKicks.
I love that. I think when I saw those shoes, and I think there's only one other shoe that I know of that essentially feels like clouds, and they actually are now discontinued. They're Yeezys, and they kind of have that same little bit type of look to them, but now I need to own them because I'm a big Yeezys guy. I also got a couple of shoes up here.
Oh, there you go. You had them ready.
Yeah. I didn't know that, I was talking to the shoe guy over here. Actually, I did kind of know it too, but I didn't know to what extent here. So I'm excited to get my hands on these.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, from reselling others, because the shoe industry alone, I mean, I'm sure just the apparel industry and other things, but the shoe industry alone has skyrocketed in the past 3-4 years. ever since COVID, people are looking for new ways to reinvest their money, which is why Jordans and things like that just boomed and became so big. So what came from that idea of reselling to now creating your own type of apparel and shoe and investing into that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So for us, we got to a point where we realized if we're going to continue reselling, it's kind of working forever versus like create our own brand and then be able to vending machine the business and put new personalities, in the driver's seat and then continue to innovate on like what we make and sell forever. And that's kind of what it becomes, right? Like the sneaker industry overall, it's like 70 billion. The apparel industry is like almost 2 trillion. So basically what we can do is the tee I'm actually wearing today is the first ever tee. I purposely put it on for the pod that we've ever made.
yeah.
Today, the quality is about 5X and the different variety t-shirts, hoodies, sweats, leather bags, you name it, that we make are much different quality. But it just kind of shows, 3 years ago, right, we were making this and now 3 years later, we have probably 5 to 10,000 units sold in the last month of our own product line. Margins are 5X. Stays on people. They wear it all over the world and that continues to build the fire, right? So I think the very short answer is like, we got to a point where we realized, okay, it's better to sell one of our own product versus 25 of somebody else's product line, because all you're really retaining is the profit that you made from selling someone else's, but you're not retaining the long-term value of like a brand trusted customer, with your own brand.
I got a question. It's funny because I actually have always wanted to start my own product line. So one day I'll compete with you.
Yeah.
And the thing that's always been interesting to me or curious is, how do you exactly start a product line? Like, how do you know what people are going to want? How do you avoid wasting tons of money on useless inventory? Like, these are the things I've always been kind of concerned about when I'm like, oh, I want to start a t-shirt brand or something like that.
I think the very first thing to do is just look at like what's working already. Like, don't try and reinvent the wheel. The reason why so many people fail is because they think, oh, this will be amazing and let me just be a viral brand. Like, no, like figure out like who's trending on TikTok. Like, what are the top like 50 biggest apparel brands of the previous year? Okay, how do I curate a product that kind of looks like the most similar to all of them combined? Start from there, find a cool name, barrier to entry, make something that's like maybe 1,000 units, doesn't run you more than like 10K, usually apparel, right? And get to work, start pushing it, right? And like see what people like about it and then see what they don't like and then kind of build from there. But again, like this was our first tee. Doesn't even have like the culture cursive on the back, which was on the second tee. But we learned every single time. And I also built a business on the side that I was able to just give these away for free for a year and never even like needed $1 back and was just eating into my own margin to have people wearing them all over.
Did you ever consider using, when you first started out, one of those companies that will do the print on demand? Like, would you recommend, if there was some entrepreneur listening to this right now that wanted to build an apparel brand, going back, do you think that's a good idea, or would you recommend somebody always get inventory and just try to sell it out?
I think if you don't have the cash on the side to be able to buy it, then it's not a bad idea, but it is going to like increase your costs a lot. Like if you have to do print on demand, plus like you kind of have less control, because then again, if you just have 20 shirts in your trunk and you run into Allen Iverson, you're like, here you go, man. Like that was huge for me because I was just giving them to good customers as I was doing deals. So I would say the best route, if you're just starting, you're an entrepreneur, like build some sort of side hustle or keep your current job that gives you enough cash flow to be able to actually buy the product, because you just have a wheel of more opportunity once you actually own it, right? Versus like print on demand, then you got to worry about like the turnaround time, logistics of ordering it, shipping it to end customer. Maybe there's product that's off, like not made properly, and then you just have more problems on your hands.
I have some questions as far as the marketing. So I have a buddy who he actually did drop shipping for different variances of products that actually was for kickboxing, UFC. It was very niche specific. And the reason why is because that's what he did. So it was easy for him to actually give those products to the people that he saw in the gym that actually saw the difference, got those actual testimonials, put it onto TikTok. Some of them went viral, some of them didn't. And then him becoming so niche specific, he actually opened up his own apparel line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for you, what's worked for you for the marketing tactics? Is it the same type of thing? Have you gone really niche specific? Are you pretty much all encompassing whoever wants Culture Kicks? You know, how do you become viral on marketing? How did you get to 3 million?
Yeah, it's an amazing timing question right now because I'm actually going after affiliate sellers and marketers for us. But I think what we did was focus on what we do best, and that's just create entertaining, authentic content, right? And going all in, not trying to saturate it by being like, oh, I need the short-term money. Let's blast a lot of these sales videos and kill our algorithm, right? Like, I know that it's coming. Like, I know the buildup is coming. So we built our business, or I built our business to be 70-30%, like 70 media, 30% product. And now I'm just passively seeing sales from like the link in bio and like us resharing our story, right? And like just kind of passively telling them about it, but now integrating it into the TikToks in an organic way where Chase will buy someone else's product and give them a free t-shirt. Oh, by the way, guys, product is linked below, shop now. So like my advice would be to not force, the sales so much that you're like worried about, I need to make the money now. Build some sort of side business like I did to be able to resell other people's products and not depend on your media converting into sales, so that you can just focus on growing overall accounts, exposure, everything. And the time will come that you can fully integrate it. Like, you just kind of have to have faith. But I'm living proof that it works. So
you were saying affiliate marketing. So on top, you were promoting other people's products so you can gain followers and traction. Were they doing the same thing for you as well for Culture Kicks?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I'm about to implement that for other people to promote our own, because right now they're already doing it on their own. Like TikTok shop, for example, which is, while we're on the topic, going to explode over the next 5 to 7 years. And anybody 100%. That can integrate themselves to be able to live sell or just have product on TikTok or be a TikTok seller yourself. I know people that are working a corporate job making 25 to 50K a month, just like ordering a sample product and then making a video here and like holding it and selling it. It's just like nuts. So people are doing it with our own right now. We're not even paying them the commissions TikTok is, right? And what I'm going to do is actually boots on the ground in Brickell, Miami, like find some of the highest end, highest performing TikTok affiliate sellers and like give them the product physically and be like, hey, your commission's actually even better now. So like go sell for us. And it just stays.
We talk about this on this podcast all the time about how popular and how influential influencer marketing is. Mm-hmm. People are so impulsive that, especially in today's generation, that we have Amazon at our fingertips, that we have somebody that we know, like, and trust. If I saw Alex and I was watching all of your organic content and they weren't selling me on every video or even every 3-4 videos, and then you posted one, I'm like, dude, Alex is looking dope in that shirt. Where'd he get that? And you say, oh, shop now. And I'm like, sweet, right there, done. It's just crazy. Influencer marketing, who has millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers, who sell any types of product. This is how our society is right now.
For sure. Very smart. And, we've seen it work now with some of our biggest, largest brand partners, right? Like we're with this energy drink called Yerbe, plant-based energy, Shop GLD, very well known in like the influencer marketing space. We have like the lead cleaner of all shoes and sneakers called Rejuvenator, right? A couple other brands, food and drink brands, and then bookies.com/culture. It's like the one-stop shop for all sportsbook promos, whatever. And we're just literally able to like do a coin flip. If the guy loses or he wins, oh, do you guys want to win big too? Use our link. And it just destroys and converts, right? So we see that work now. But the cool thing for at least us in-house is we have one of the top 10 influencers like in sneakers and streetwear across the globe, like in our house. So I don't have to pay as much for that, and just focusing on us doing us and horse blinders and, making the right decisions.
I love that. And the fact that it's only 2 years old too, like you're right here already and it's up here. It's crazy. These next 12 months are going to be nuts for you.
It'll be cool to look back on this.
Alex, can you tell the listeners a little bit more about, you guys founded Culture Kicks with a idea. What exactly is that mission? What is that idea? I mean, I know you also have your own personal mission that you're really getting into about trying to help people enhance their lives. Tell us a little bit more about like your mission, the mission of the company, and what it's all about.
Yeah, I think we definitely wanted to start as like being an inspiration for people within Philly. Chase went to St. Joe's Prep, which is like one of the most notable high schools. DeAndre Swift went there within the city of Philadelphia. Brandon Graham, like one of the most respected guys out of Philly, right, is on our board of advisors. And I think in the beginning, we really just were like two entrepreneurs, like trying to make money and not go the corporate route. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that we wanted to build this huge, intricate, entertaining media company. Like, that was definitely not in the cards. We didn't think we were going to do live auctioning. But the biggest thing was our mindset and just being open to adapt to any trend that would come, right? And when we started Culture Kicks, we did start during a fortunate time because it was the COVID boom. It was, you go buy a sports card, you go buy a dunk off the wall at Foot Locker, you hold it for 3 months and you make $100 just looking at it, right? So how much could you buy? And that helped us basically fund all of our mistakes with a startup, right? So notice that too, if it's an entrepreneur listening, like, we funded our mistakes. We didn't do everything right. The second year we got totally robbed. We got cleaned out $70,000 in the middle of the night by a couple guys from New York City who came in and looted the place on an inside job with the alarm company. So basically had to build back from that. And the whole time we didn't know that we were going to build a media first company. But to answer your question, now that we've kept all the doors open, it's almost like we have infinite doors, 3 years later, 2.5 years later, to be able to now not only just build our own company, build our own shoe line, build a media company that can basically cover anything in sports, entertainment, sneakers, apparel, you name it, but then also kind of build our own personal brands like what I'm trying to do and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs who even come up to me from like my small little Instagram has 3,000 followers or whatever. And they're like, dude, like, I go harder every single day because of the stuff that you post. And, I'm trying to now be able to tell the story and give away some of those secrets because I don't think anything should be left a secret. Like, at the end of the day, if you just have a vision, you're open to change and you're able to not screw other people over and just like put other people first, like always pay it forward, you're going to have the most insane opportunities come across your desk and, like, be ready for it. And I'm like excited to meet more people like yourself that I can keep helping and collaborating with.
Just want to say one comment onto that real quick. I think a really big thing of what you said, Alex, is it encompasses really what we bring onto this show as far as the 1%, as far as in your mindset. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, especially older business owners, majority of the people that I talk to, they're used to certain ways and they're not adaptive to change. The reason why you became such a big conglomerate and will continue to go that way is because you have an open mind. You're susceptible to change. You embrace change because of the possibilities that it's going to bring, comparatively to, I'm used to this way, so this is the way that I'm going to go with. This is the comfortable way I'm going to go with. This is the safe way, not the risky way. You opening these doors and having that type of mindset, it has already gotten you to where you are. And I love that mindset. It's exactly the type of mindset you need to have.
Yeah. I mean, people just overcomplicate everything. Like, it's crazy how not complex it is,
Amen.
It really is not. Like, be consistent. Don't be an asshole.
There's a good question for you. What's one of the things that you learned about business that you thought was going to be really complex until you did it and you're like, holy crap, this was so simple?
I think towards the end of your question, the thing that popped in my head is like, don't put off the most important thing. Like, do that first, because there's always going to be 5 to 10 fires a day that you're just like, I'll put them out right now. I'll put them out. And then eventually I realized, like, all right, fires can burn for like a week or two. And like, I'll get it back around to those, but like, make sure you prio the stuff that keeps growing your business that got you here in the first place. And don't, constantly try and manage or micromanage your employees or your partners or whatever issue is going on with your landlord because they need the dumpster, figure it out, or whatever it is, right? Your agenda first. That would be my number one thing, probably.
I want to ask, just because I've had this conversation with Vin, I've had this conversation with a couple other people as well. What's the difference if you did this yourself? Do you think you would have the same success? Or if you were to start again right now with the knowledge that you have right now, do you think you could build this company yourself? Or do you think it'd be beneficial with bringing on a partner? What type of advice would you bring to either seasoned entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs that are looking to start up a goods company, an apparel company?
Yeah, that's the number one question Chase and I get like every time is like, how did you guys find each other? Like, how can I get another Alex and Chase, And And I'm never going to be able to just honestly say it, because you gotta use your gut and then also take a trust fall. But first answer is like, I could never have done it myself. Like, you need a partner. And if I were to do it again, I would keep looking. Like, I would start the business as 100% equity owner, but then keep looking until I found somebody who I believe strongly enough could be a 50% shareholder partner with me, and then probably divest the equity to him like over a year once he proves it. But definitely not try and do it myself, because it's basically impossible, like, in my opinion, to see the growth that we have seen in 2 to 3 years with one person. Because like, you need to be in two places at once, or you need to be able to like just Shaq and Kobe it, like someone can't sell every single day, or if someone's selling, then someone's got to be shipping. And how we started the whole business was like, Chase was the buyer, I was the seller. You know what I mean? Like, and there's some iteration of that in every business, but especially in an apparel business. And there's someone that's going to be like, managing the inventory, and there's someone that's managing the partnerships, right? So don't try and, have 100% of your grape, right? 50% of a watermelon is much better.
So I guess a second part of this question is then, as far as the partnership goes to, are you guys like-minded individuals? Obviously, I'm sure there's been disagreements here, but are you guys equal as far as mindsets go, or are you completely different personalities? Do you completely have, is one a type A and one's a type B? How exactly is this partnership here?
Yeah, people say it a lot. Like, it's kind of the perfect combination of both sides, with the driving factor that we both can just outwork anyone we know. So I think like the strongest similarity is that, like I said, we're insanely hard workers. Like, we don't really have an off button once we like kind of figure it out. But he does have 2 years older. Like, he's 2 years older than me, and he tends to be a little bit more like balanced, reserved, less like aggressive, right? So like, I'm the one that's like constantly thinking 6 to 8 months ahead, and then I'll be able to bring him an idea, and he'll be like, "Just chill, Alex. Just chill, right? Like, let's just think about this. This didn't exactly go the way that we thought, right?" But sometimes the risk, you need to take it, or else you'll never get to where we have in 2 to 3 years. And he knows when he sees it kind of within my gut to just let me go. And like, once we've done that enough times, then we kind of integrate, let's say like a head of media in between us, head of product, head of operations. We'll take in a third opinion if there's like some sort of disagreement, but like, kind of assigning roles. I'm trying to think advice here, right? Like, it took us a year or two till we were like, all right, who's the CEO? Who's the COO here? And we were both like 50% owners, right? He became the face. I became like the head decision maker, and that kind of just naturally happened. But I've seen a lot, like, if someone's listening right now, I've seen a lot of brands and a lot of companies experience large setbacks because of their ego problems. And like, they all want to be the face. They all want to make the decision. Like, know what you are best at, know your role, and lean into that. And if you constantly try and, have friction, that is why the people that were ahead of us the last 3 years are no longer ahead of us, because they haven't figured that out and we have.
It's good advice.
I think one thing that's really important that a lot of people struggle with is that last piece you said right there. How do you start to tame your ego? How do you decide, or how do you come to the conclusion that, I want to do this thing, but I see that he's so much better at that? Or even with equity, I see so many people struggle with ideas of equity and payment, and that hinders a company growing too, because it's like, well, I need bigger compensation, or I want bigger compensation. You guys fight about equity, compensation, and titles, and then the company doesn't grow anyway. Like, how did you guys start figuring that stuff out, where it's like, let's just get to dividing the watermelon instead of eating our own grapes?
We learned and made mistakes, and I've made 100 more mistakes than, successes. One of the questions you asked before, like, what did I wish I knew? I wish I knew that I was going to be wrong 10 times more than I was right, but the one time I was right was going to pay for the next 100 wrongs. And it was okay, right? So I hired all these people, made them managers, made them assistant managers, directors, right? They're like 26 years old, 24 years old, empowered them, gave them Christmas bonuses that at the time, the person managing my financial books could have told me like, hey, this was too much to give them. Didn't tell me that. So I've lost money trying to build the perfect org tree. And then I think just can't cheat time, over the 2 years, the people that are still with me have learned and seen that it's like, all right, titles don't really mean shit. Like we all got to go out and work together and over communicate. And now we've kind of fallen into our own, titles that work, but I'm not able to give like the best ever advice here, because I think for us, it was really just like, you couldn't cheat time. And I would say, don't rush to give out equity or give out like a super big title, because then people sometimes get more comfortable, and stop working as hard.
Makes sense.
So primarily you're saying auctioning. Now, are you on like major auctioning places like Whatnot and eBay Live on TikTok? So go ahead.
So last year alone, we did over I think almost 6 million on Whatnot. And that was literally just like selling other people's products like Nikes, Adidas,
Right.
whatever. But now we've kind of fully transferred over to TikTok Live, and that's just, again, fully integrated. Like you guys mentioned Amazon, we'll see what happens here this month with TikTok in the US, but either way, we have TikTok ownership in every other country in the world, and we're going to over 20 international cities in 2025. So it'll definitely remain a large part of our business. But assuming it stays domestically or domestically present, right, we're going to have someone that's going live every single day, live auctioning, except it's not like in an auction format. It's buy now. So it's like $110 retail bag, and then we flash sale at 50% off to like $55. And we're able to see up to 25,000 people in the live, which is like the top 1% on the app right now.
Wow.
Versus on Whatnot, there's 10 million people on the app overall. I do think that it's like probably the best auction site out there, like hands down. But as far as just overall mass population, there's 1.7 billion people an hour on TikTok. There's 10 million people total on the Whatnot app. So eBay and other sites haven't really gotten like their technology up yet for whatever reason, but we're definitely going to be focusing on TikTok the most, although we may be partnering with Whatnot, funny enough, in a media deal. So Chase will be going back on there once a month if that pans out.
Yeah, Whatnot it's a great platform. It for those of you that don't know Whatnot, it's a very diverse platform that essentially sells, I mean, pretty much anything from metals to cards to watches to shoes. It essentially is kind of being eBay, except that's constantly what it is. It's just live auctions.
I was going to say there's one long-term key difference, and that's you own zero data. So for someone that is trying to build, a long-term brand or business and being able to,
that's where I was going to go into
outreach, you own absolutely nothing.
Right.
Of you sell on Whatnot. And back to kind of what I led with in the beginning is like, the only thing you really retain is hopefully, your notoriety from a good customer, knowing your brand, like mentally, I guess, and whatever money you hopefully make on the auction.
Yeah. And there's definitely other cons about that too, on top of the Whatnot fees that they take in, and, the competition that's there. And if you're not there and there's 4 other people selling similar shoes, someone may go spend their money there. But the biggest pro of what you're mentioning is TikTok. You own that audience. If you set up an alert and said, Alex is on for Culture Kicks right now, and I'm going to get that update every single day that you go on, that you're live. And obviously, I think right now TikTok is not charging fees at the moment. Obviously, that's going to change. We'll
Very
see.
little, yeah. Like
okay, very little fees. So I think that's a change too. I remember when it was free for a little while.
Definitely anymore.
Yeah. But anyways, I think there's huge pros with owning your audience. And essentially outside on top of, building the followers, it's just it's stuff that you can multifaceted and use. So what's the future for Culture Kicks?
Yeah. I mean, future right now is more of what we're doing and innovating on our own product line, and even a step further on our own product line, collabing with major brands and influencers in 2025 that we currently have, I'll let you guys know in a couple months, but we currently have set up, and it's going to be joint sneakers, let's say like hoodies, sweatsuits, and really pumping them out. Same way that Kai and Speed are cross streaming together right now. We're going to be able to cross stream with other major influencers, but then also kind of release a product line. Now that we have the supply chain built, the manufacturer, hey, you don't have to worry about how to go make a shoe that isn't going to twist and break someone's ankle and actually feel comfortable on them. I got you, brother. Now let me just put your logo on the other side. Let's push it to the world, rinse and repeat. That's sort of like the media and, product collaboration that can just explode.
Smart. I don't know if that's been seen. You guys are doing NASCAR with shoes. I mean, that's pretty sick. I don't know if I've heard of that before.
Yeah. I mean, people are doing it here and there. You know, you see like Jake Paul make W and then bring in all these influencers, but he's not like collabing with them or giving them some sort of ownership rights. It's just kind of like influencer marketing style. So,
because at that point, I need to.
But then also, you know, getting into more like diversity of content, diversity of our overall actors, right? Eliminating like the key man of Chase being the only person in the content. So we have 3 new actors and actresses coming on in 2025 that are going to be able to build like the overall content house. So it's not just going to be him in that exact same position buying sneakers. We're going to be able to go to different celebrities, athletes, influencers' own stage and make content on their own stage, right? And then be able to roll that out across 14 to 18 different new social media accounts that we have planned for this year. And that'll be, you know, whether it be like live clips of these personalities who are going to be like filming and just posted, right? Long form, then short form clipped, or actual like vlog style, you know, all the things that we do all around the world. It'll be exciting to see the content house 12 months from now.
Getting your time back. I love it. Sign me up. I can't wait. I'm following Culture Kicks right after this.
There you go.
I'm already following them. Get on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, Alex, we got a good question for you, too. We like to ask this of everybody. You know, the name of the podcast here is the 1% Podcast. And we started this with the ideology that you don't have to be a billionaire to be a 1%er. Obviously, that's what people do think of, but there's the awareness that you could be a 1%er in anything. You could be the best cake maker. You could be the world, I don't know, push-up champion. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So for you, what is your version of a 1% life? How does that look?
My version of a 1% life is having the freedom to do whatever I want with my time and travel the world or invest in another business or start this current business. And obviously there's places where I want to own real estate, houses, jets, boats, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, like I don't want to be told to do something that I don't want to do, you know? And like I want to be able to like spend time with people that I really care about, whether it be my own family, business partners, like-minded individuals like yourself. Take a podcast, you know, 2:00 here on a Thursday, right? All of those things just at a larger scale. I think 1% is like, it's really like more 1% mentality than 1% financials, you know? And I think the people who are understanding what I'm saying often find themselves in the 1% of the financial world as well.
And where or what were some of the best ways that you started learning to have this kind of mindset? How have you built your mindset? How have you learned these ideologies? Like what has been a part of that journey for you?
I think like picking 3 to 5 people who you actually look up to that have kind of done this before, trying to follow along with their journey. A lot of times they say the very similar things. And fitness, like, you know, as funny as it sounds, like just starting every single day, like getting a workout in or moving your body. And like, you know, for me, like I actually do ice bath, which I know is like hardo, it's whatever, but like it helps, right? To just clear you for the entire day and feel like everything is like just not that hard of a, you know, setback or challenge. But more importantly, getting a workout in and like, you know, it just totally clears your mind every single day. And I feel like it's one of those things where people are like, all right, whatever. It's like the 48th person I've heard say that, but it like really, that is the answer, you know? And then follow your gut, third thing, which allows you after you've done the workout of the day, like to really like live in the moment more, but then trust yourself kind of, and don't be afraid to fail. Like the sooner you fail, the sooner you learn. We don't take L's, we take lessons, you know, like just keep learning, keep failing. Don't put yourself ever in a position to lose it all. Don't ever make one bet, but continue to win and pay it forward as soon as you realize the win, and people will change your life more than anything. So I think I just gave you like 12 answers, but you know, really like put your trust and invest into other people who you think you can build with. And if you get screwed over, man, like, you know, don't make it your life's mission to like exploit that person that screwed you over. Just let the ship sail. Keep going. Just keep going.
I love it.
There you go.
Shane, you got anything you want to add to that?
I mean, I know the book's got to come out soon after all that, life lessons from Alex. But I think the biggest thing that I want to talk about, I always preach, and Vin knows this too. He hears me say it 100 times: is time's the most valuable commodity that we have on this planet. So I share that similar mindset with you. However, I've been adapting this with help from Vin. Is that I personally think that your health needs to be the number one factor in every single person's life. Because if you're healthy, everything else in life becomes that much more easier and important. Health needs to become before family. Health needs to come before religion, because if you're healthy, you can live longer. You can support the things that you need to focus on as far as priorities even more. But the health should be number one goal before anything else. And I know it's going to be controversial, but if you really think about it, it just makes sense. So I agree with that mindset as well.
To people that consistently work out, it will almost never be controversial. To the people that don't, it will be controversial. So kind of gives you your answer. But yeah, I couldn't imagine or couldn't be where I am today and everything I just told you if I wasn't in shape the last 3 years, and 99% of that isn't so that I can have a tad more of a tone around my bicep. It's so that my mind is set correctly.
It's it's interesting. Back when I was a firefighter, they had a shirt, and on the shirt it said "Train for Life." And so they were always talking about how us training, us doing this difficult process of becoming firefighters wasn't just about getting your body right. It's about training for the hard days. Because the reality is, when you're training yourself and you're tempering yourself and you're putting yourself through this strain and this hardship every single day willingly, it allows you to handle the things you maybe don't want to. And let's be honest, there's going to be a lot of hard days. You're going to get bad news one day about your parents. They're not going to be around. You're going to get horrible news for yourself one day. You're going to get horrible news in your business. You're going to get horrible news about somebody who just screws you, or a partner or a friend or a family. Your potential lover. You're always going to get hard news and hard days. And so we don't train just to have a good body. We train for what life is eventually going to put us through. But if we put ourselves through it willingly every single day, it becomes that much easier to navigate on the days where life tries to put us through it. So I love the foundations of a fit body for a fit mind.
1000%. I would retweet that 100 times if I could, Vin.
Mic drop it, dude. Nothing more to say about that. That's perfect.
I love it. Well, Alex, we're coming up on the end here. Go ahead, please tell people, how can they be a part of the Culture Kicks journey? Is there anything right now that's really hot that you want people to check out from your brand specifically? Maybe those sneakers. How can people go get some cool products or some really great apparel?
Yeah, we're on Culture Kicks, at Culture Kicks on all platforms. Mine's at ALEX LOTIER. I mean, we have, really cool, like V3 actually coming out in 3 months, and stay tuned for some major collabs with some major people. But I definitely just think anyone who, wants to engage with our sort of content, I even have in my bio on my Instagram, like one of the first ever podcasts from like a year ago that we did. And it just kind of shows the journey as well, like we just talked about today. And I would take from what we've built and what we're going to become that you guys can do anything, anyone that's listening, and literally put your mind to it and manifest it. And it all can be real. So definitely don't ever put yourself in a box where you think you're incapable of, achieving some certain goal. And, once you put it on a board, once you put it in the front of your mind, work every day for it. And like, it's the most rewarding, amazing feeling you'll ever experience. So if you could take anything from Culture Kicks, that's what I would want you to take.
Not just the shoes. See, he's doing exactly what he said. He's not telling you to buy shoes. He's like, I want you to take a good mindset from Culture Kicks and see how we can inspire you. And then eventually the link will be in the bio for you to click.
Yeah, maybe.
Alex is consistent, if nothing else.
I mean, it better be, because I want some of those shoes. I mean, we're talking about clouds here, and Yeezy's discontinued, so I need a new pair. So, Alex, I'm coming your way, buddy.
That was my favorite shoe when I started this whole thing. All I wore was Yeezy 350s, so...
Hey man, I got a pair. I could vouch. They're freaking comfortable. So I typically wear the shoes that on clouds.
Yeah.
And I love my Culture Kicks so much I switch off between the two, because it's just like I can't choose which one to wear anymore, because Culture Kicks just as comfortable, if not more, than the on clouds.
There you go.
So go get them.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right.
Big
Yeah,
time.
of course. Everybody, thank you so much. As always, please like, share, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, leave a comment. Let us know what color shoes you buy, and tune in for the next episode. Alex, stick around for a minute right after. And as always, guys, I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
that was Alex. See you later.
Bye, guys.